Welcome to part 2 of setting up an Egro Next Touch Coffee. In this video we're going to go over installing new software, installing the proper parameters for the account, as well as modifying and adding icons as well as wallpaper and screensaver, so basically all of our graphics. Now, as you can see via the camera and what you're seeing on your screen, we're zoomed into our display screen, of course. On a flash drive, I have loaded the new software as well as the client's parameters and all of their icons. Now, we've gone away from using Bluetooth transfer like we did with the bio. We've gone back to flash drives because they're just more reliable and more readily available. So, of course, when you open up the grounds door, by the big red power button is where your USB gets plugged in. If it has a little blinking light on, it'll blink, and then once it's solid, it means that the USB has been read in. On the screen itself, what you're going to see is, of course, and this is your main drink selection area. This currently is in queue mode, which is this area here, simply because it's in a testing parameter. But you have your clock up here. You can select your different languages should you need to change languages. Any warning labels display up here, but also here when you have the door open. And then you have your cleaning menu, your switch screen menu. So if you have a parameter that has numerous screens, what I mean by this is you have 3 or 4 Bean Cup machines set up all next to each other, but the client has different coffees in each one. They'll actually all be on the same parameter. If you hit the little switch screen mode, you can actually go in between the different machines. So if you don't have to rename anything. Basically, everything's already in there. And all the way to the upper right there, the final button, that's your login. So of course, we're going to select technician. 1849 is our password. Hit enter. Now in here, you can see the cleaning menu. You have general settings, which allows you to back things up. We'll go through this in just a little bit more. Set up your time, set up your language. You have products, which is basically, if I go into here, all of the different recipes that are within the machine, organized by category of coffee, coffee and milk, powder, all that fun stuff. Inside of products, this is where you also have hoppers and blends, which is, we'll go over this a little bit when we load the new parameter in just a moment. Multi-drink and cup sizes, where we have cup sizes. Interface, if I select this, this is where I get to actually move icons around. Other fun things like statistics and things like that exist here as well. But the first thing that we're going to do, because it's a machine that's been, let's say, sitting around for a little bit since it was benched by us at the factory, like the machines that are going to be getting installed, right now, post-pandemic, what we're going to do is we're going to go into general settings because we're going to update the software. Now, the software doesn't get updated via the Egro Tech menu. It gets updated outside of this, going into the UI of the CPU, so the user interface of the CPU. The way that we get there is we hit exit device lock mode, we exit out, and we basically get into this guy. We select the little button there, the 6 little dots in a circle. That brings us to the main menu. If you're familiar with Android, this is basically what an Android screen looks like. And let me get you guys in focus here. There you go. And now what we're going to do, select File Manager. We're going to hit the little house icon. So house, and then mount, M-A-T, and then media, R-W. And then this alphanumeric one on top here, that is our flash drive. And inside of this flash drive, we can search for our file and things like that. There's always going to be just a slight lag because we're in the CPU UI. What we're going to do now is we're going to find the new software, which I actually put underneath this All-Towns Connectivity, Bean the Cup machine, software, and then I have 4 files in here. Ignore the 2 files that are 4 kilobytes. They're just duplicate search files. We want always the ones that are a couple, 40 or plus megabytes. First, always do the tech So select tech, and it's going to load, and it's going to say install. Now, sometimes it'll ask you to enable permissions, at which point you say yes, enable permissions. There's a little toggle that you hit there, and then you hit back to get back into this screen. But otherwise, you just hit install, and it'll start installing. With the EgroTech, once it's done installing, the next thing that we're going to do, instead of hitting done, we're actually going to hit open. This is going to launch the EgroTech menu, which is very similar in appearance to the Egro 1 touchscreen menu, if you remember the Egro 1 from days ago. Oh, look at that. Hello. My reflection is inside of this screen. There we go. Select 1849, again, for your tech password. Hit OK. And then you can actually select software upgrade. And in here, because I already upgraded this machine, it doesn't have any selections. But if it was needing upgrading, it would upgrade automatically, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. So with that, I already upgraded this at some point, so we're just going to hit back, or get back to here, and then this is where you would select our B2C 3.012, which is our newest version of our software. And that software, of course, is the user UI. So we would select this, hit install as well, and let that install. That is going to then, of course, let us to go back into our UI. Once you do this, I'm going to hit cancel on this one. So after you install the newest UI, and you're just going to hit open on that. And if you're not in that UI, you can actually just tap the little circle there. It's going to bring you, come on. Tap the square, close all of the apps. This is also how you crash the apps. But just go home, select Egro UI, and let it load. At this point, we're back in our UI. Everything's supposed to be up to date. If you're uncertain what version of app you're running, select the little cleaning icon here, and at the bottom in this corner it's going to tell you what version you're running, which is 3.0.12 is the current version that I'm running. With that, I'm going to hit save. Now that my software UI and my software machine software is updated, I'm going to load the new parameter. So we're going to log back into tech. So select technician 1849 is my password, hit enter. From here, I'm going to go into general settings. Then I'm going to select restore under the database. And of course, here you once again see this alphanumeric 8-digit. This is our flash drive. I'm going to select this. I'm going to go into my Schenectady folder because that's the file that I will be loading onto here. Find my bean to cup, go into parameter, and here is my file, the .product file. Of course, not the one with the underscore. That's just a search file. We actually want the full file. So I'm going to select that, hit restore, and it's going to reload. Give it a moment. There you go. And as you can see, the screen looks different now, but we're missing iconography. Clearly, this isn't a parameter that is just supposed to be these little white boxes. So we're going to log back into our technician. Because we were just in there, it's just going to not even ask us for the password anymore. I'm going to go into interface settings. We have to load all of the new wallpapers, screensavers, and icons. The way that we do that is in interface settings there. Whoops, there we go. Interface settings, right? Up top here is our parameter. So if I drop this down, I could switch between the screens. Remember how I said, even though this has 4 hoppers, some roasters might have 5 of these machines next to each other. They might have different screens. So we can actually select the different screens up there. The other thing that we have here is wallpaper. So if I hit that little pencil, I can import a file. I can go into our hard drive there, into our flash drive, I mean. Select Schenectady, go into the bean to cup, go into graphics. You're going to see a lot of JPEGs in here, but the one JPEG that we want is the white wallpaper. And then make sure that it's highlighted, and then hit save. And now our wallpaper is white. It's hard to see, but basically there are still tiles here. Kind of see me moving it around, but we don't have icons on them yet. Next, we're going to do the screensaver. So it's again, turn on the screensaver with the toggle it to the on position. Select the pencil. There we go. Now we're going to hit import file again. Go into my flash drive. Go into my Schenectady folder, being a cup. Find screensaver. Oh, look at that. I don't have anything in there. Well, I might actually have it in my graphics folder. Let's take a look. Do we have it? Aggro wallpaper. Let's see what this guy is. Nope, that's just our wallpaper. Might need to load a screensaver onto here. So I'll do that later. For now, we're just going to select the background. All right, and now that we've enabled a screensaver, next thing that we can do is go into loading our iconography. Now I select the pencil up here, and then you can see that this loads me into a funny menu. The reason is this is a folder within a folder. We'll get into that in a little bit when you actually have icons on the screen where it's easier to see. We're going to hit the little pencil up here, and this is where we get into our appearance, and we're going to hit icon, hit the pencil there. Come on, little buddy. Register my finger, please. There we go. Oops. And what we're going to do now, I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. You can see all these standardized cup icons that I have. And I'm going to hit plus. And then from here, I'm going to go into my hard drive, Schenectady, being a cup icons, graphics. I have all of these PNG files. Now I usually like to start from the bottom because we get duplicates on the top. And I'm slowly going to load all of these by hand. Now, yes, you do have to do each one individually, which is a little bit annoying. So bear with me here. I'm going to get this going. So you don't have to search for a bunch of folders like this. If you have nothing else on the flash drive that you're using for this job, you could just dump these into the main folders. You don't have to dig through folders. But I'm going to get these loaded real quick, and I'll be right back with you. Alrighty, so now I have all of my icons loaded. As you can see, all the different cup sizes, all the different blends, all that fun stuff. And instead of selecting one and hitting OK, I'm going to hit cancel, and I'm going to hit cancel again here because I accidentally selected this. I'm going to go back out by one, and then you can see all of our icons have loaded. Now, the way these screens are designed for the customer are, we actually run something known as a folder. So instead of just having touch here and it becomes a drink icon, this is actually a folder. So just like on your computer where you could have a folder and then you have a folder inside of a folder, that's how these are run. To edit the graphic on the folder, you of course hit the little pencil. To move it around, you can just drag and drop it, and then of course these little arrows here and here make it bigger or smaller. And if I hit coffee, like this, you can see that, oops, go back one, hot coffee, and then I have 4 more folders of all the different coffees that are in here. Of course, if I need to edit that hot coffee folder icon, I can select the pencil there, but if I need to edit the dark roast, I can select the pencil there. Then it'll ask you, of course, via another folder, do you want room for cream or not? Select no. And then here are 3 different coffee icons. So you have to go pretty far to actually get into the drinks themselves. And if I select this guy, this is how I can actually get into my drink recipe, things like that. Now I don't have to worry about editing this here though. So as long as my icons are matching, I'm okay. So I could just hit back and back and back and back and go all the way back to where I need it to go. Now the one final graphic that we need to load are the information cards for the drinks themselves. And the easiest place to do that is to go into products, just like this. Now you can see all these different coffees that have loaded in. Remember, those weren't there before we did the parameter. I'm going to just select the first coffee I see. I'm going to go into appearance, select the pencil up there. On the bottom where it says info, I'm going to select that. I'm going to hit import file. And we're going to go do the same thing. Schenectady, bean to cup, graphics. And here are my info cards. All of these lovely JPEGs. So I'm going to go in and load all of these guys real quick. Columbia, decaf, dark roast, and of course, just remembering that the name that has the underscore on it is incorrect. We want the ones that don't have it, so plus import file, Schenectady graphics. Now, basically all of these are already linked within the parameter, which is why we can just dump the files onto here. The only thing is we just cannot load them as a bundle. That's the only thing that is not possible currently with the current way that we have our things set up. But once we get everything loaded onto here, I believe I have everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all of them are in there. I can of course now hit cancel. And we'll enable info card. This is the Africa blend. Select, hit save. There we go. So those are all linked. So that's perfect. After this, the next thing that we can do is go and hit save and log out, which is underneath here in this corner underneath machine info. Give it a moment. There it is. And we're going to pull out our flash drive. Come on. There we go. We're going to close our door. There's our screensaver. That is not the correct screensaver, but I enabled something. We're going to select here. I did not empty out my ground store. We're just basically going to run through a few of these and make sure that our graphics are loaded where they need to be loaded. Yep. Oh, those are incorrect. So here's the thing. So let's say you run into something like this where, did it say fill cup with ice? Yes. And it wants room. So let's go back again. Do you want room for cream? No. Fill cup with ice. Good. This 24 ounce icon is incorrect. So if I select it, I need to go back into interface settings. I kind of need to remember where I was. So basically what we're going to do now is we're going to edit a incorrect icon. So we're going to go back into our tech menu. We're going to go into our interface. That one was in iced coffee drinks under dark roast. It was in the no cream. If I double tap, it opens up to the next one. Fill cup with ice. Nope, this one was correct. So back up twice. We'll find it. Iced coffee. So there it is. Found the icon that is incorrect. So if I select this, the first thing I have to ask myself, is it the icon that's incorrect or is it the recipe that's incorrect? And what I notice in here is that this is a 24 ounce leave room. So the recipe is actually correct. The icon is, and the recipe is incorrect. Everything else is good. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to delete this tile, hit the plus button. You need to find a 24 ounce with ice, with no room. And this was, African blend. 24 ounce African blend, no room. So there are 24 ounces. Here they are, 24 ounce iced African. Boom, there it is. And then we press our little, whoops. See this when you go too quickly. There we go. You press our little arrows to make our icon bigger, just like that. Then we could hit save and log out. And now when I go in here, correct, you can see that it is correct, but it's grayed out. Why is it grayed out? Most likely something is not assigned to it. So let's find that drink again. There's two ways to find that drink to see what error it has. One is to go in for the products, which will give us the full list. The other one is to hunt via the interface settings. Whichever is more convenient for you, feel free to do it that way. I personally do enjoy going through the interface settings. It sometimes seems to be a little bit faster. But we're going to find a 24-ounce iced African blend, which is right here. Select it. And now we're going to see why was it grayed out. Well, it was grayed out because there's no base coffee assigned to it. So we're going to select this pencil. We're going to assign our base coffee, which this version is called Jiffy Mart. And then we are going to add a coffee. I'm going to find the African blend. That's it. We just assigned our coffee. We're making sure that our base size is correct. Hit save. Base size matches there. Hit save. Save and log out. At this point, iced coffee, African blend, no room for cream. Yes, I filled it with ice. There it is. It's able to brew. So if I select it, I could hit start and I could hit the brew.